Well, honestly, yeah. When you go around the league and you see these other teams taking care of their best guys, I don't take it personally. I just don't understand.
He can't. The Cowboys, infinitely and always a failure in everything they do for at least a long time, at least since Deion Sanders has been there. Right? It's been a while since the Cowboys have been able to really hone in and follow through with the high expectations that they seemingly had for themselves every single year. So coming right out the gate in training camp, I thought it was a great time to check them out. It's been a few days for them. They got George Pickens storylines. You got Dak Prescott being Dak Prescott. That's always just a storyline. Jerry Jones, of course, he hates his players. So that's going to be also fun. So we're going to break it down into three different things. One is just going to be silliness of the Cowboys. Sorry, let's make them Browns videos too. So we're going to just talk about what the Cowboys have been going through during training camp. And then after that, we have to talk about this Micah Parsons situation and the fact that one of the best players in the entire league is being treated as if he's like a second string running back or Le'Veon Bell. And then after that, we have to speak about the fake video because similarly to Shador, because I know a lot of y'all say, oh my God, you just use Shador for clicks. I think y'all might be a little new to news media because no, they use the Cowboys for clicks. And I'm going to prove to you by the largest leading sports reporters going ahead and using fake videos, not even fact checking their work. So let's start off with something smooth and clean and something that's just American like football is. And it's the fact that, that it was a little fiery in the huddle, and it went from that seemed to set the tone for them getting a little chippy on the sideline. And I gotta be honest with you, as much as I'm, as a Texans fan, I want this to be bad and be a big deal and XYZ. This is football, right? The sport is Hey, look at the kid. Look at the kid. Hey, this kid is a trooper. He said, I don't care. There's a bunch of 6'4" behemoth superhumans in front of me. I need a high five. Can somebody hook me up with a high five, please? It's no big deal, yo. Now, I will say, I don't know what this is. I'm not exactly sure what this is. Dakota Rain Prescott. He ain't even going through the drills. There are quarterbacks going through the drills and he's acting like he's running through a rave. At least I guess he's feeling it. I guess all that matters is that he's feeling it. I don't know what that is. So this is all good. This is American football. I don't know what this is, Dak. Dak, you better not. They had them posts where it's like somebody who looked like somebody else is like, you better not mess up. Dak. You better not put on a regular Dakota Rain Prescott showing. But let's get into some actual football. So I do want to point out that a bright spot for the Cowboys has been one of their rookies, Mr. Donovan Ezraku. And the only reason why I know about him is I believe he came from Boston College. Somebody please correct me. Yep, second round pick out of Boston College. He was one of the edges that I didn't really do a lot of film on. Just watching, who I always watch certain prospects, but I knew of him to be some of a guy that's going to be able to create a lot of value. He seemingly had a build and production for it to kind of make most sense. So that's good. That's been a bright spot. People have saying nothing but positive things about that second round draft. It literally says second round draft pick 44 right here. I'm dumb, but that doesn't matter. I fact check. I paused the whole video to fact check something that was on the screen. But another thing you have to be excited about if you are a Cowboys fan and of the Cowboys faithful is that CeeDee Lamb is doing CeeDee Lamb things. He's putting people down on the grind. And then on top of that, him and George Pickens seemingly have the coolest handshake in all of the nation because, he can't, which I thought was one of the better first downs. But now the new best first down is the Texans. You hear me? That's that one right there. I love that. Yeah. Nico the Freako be doing it. He be going crazy. B33Z, thank you so much for subbing up while I'm yelling like a weirdo. Anyway, continuing on and continuing forward. What else do we have? Because there has been a lot of good things. So Cowboys defensive end, Marshawn Nealon drops back in the flat and picks off Dak Prescott. So, we talked about Cam Ward having a problem. It seems like he didn't even come on, man. Can we look before we throw? I know what he was doing. I know exactly. Hey, he was going through his reads, right? He gets to the top of his drop. And it's funny because we just showed Shador doing this, right? But the thing about when Shador did it, right, he was doing a half-field read, and he knew that when he goes to this, when he dips this off, he has an uncovered player. Not only do you not have an uncovered player, dog, this defensive lineman, he just thought the play was over. Oh, I'm about to just cover. He was like, oh, wait a minute, I can just pick this off. You threw it directly to him. What are we doing right here? But hey, it's training camp. Maybe they're just trying to get things kinked out. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? They're getting things going. Another not so positive thing, right? Nice pass there. George Pickens, we don't have pads on. So why does this ever happen? Why are we popping the ball out? And I'm not saying the defense, obviously they're doing what they're supposed to do, but you're telling me with no pads on, we can't protect the ball right now? I don't know, Cowboys fans. Y'all let me know. As somebody who watched George Pickens at Georgia, who's just an absolute, I know the kids call it a crash out. He is actually a real deal crash out. Like he will over anything lose his mind on the football field. I still like it though. I like the energy he brings. So I'm hoping that they can kind of shore this up. But man, as someone who grew up in Texas, I gotta be honest with you. I've heard that the Cowboys are going to be great. I've seen the great rosters. They always have great rosters on paper. It always looks so phenomenal. What's it called? But then, it just seems to not do it in the best way possible. And then, of course, you got this right here. Again, this is the first week of training camp, guys. So maybe, we don't stress out. I'm sure that this was just a wide receiver doing the wrong thing. Yeah, and the fact that was George Pickens, so I'm sure he was supposed to be stopping, but, did not stop when he was supposed to be stopping. But somebody who apparently has been pretty impressive, Mr. Joe Milton. He had a much better day so far. Here he connects with Jonathan Minko, who makes a nice contested catch. So he actually has been he's been struggling with incompletions, but kind of similar to Shador, where he's kind of taking advantage of the times that he does get the reps, because he's making some great passes. He's doing backflips and all types of stuff. You don't know Joe Milton. He is the former Tennessee quarterback, right? Him and Anthony Richardson. To be honest, I want to say Josh Allen is the reason why they both got drafted, but Joe Milton is the reason why Anthony Richardson got drafted, because I think the idea is you get a more physically gifted Joe Milton who, with all those physical traits, we can just turn into a better passer, hopefully, or at least a serviceable one. With Joe Milton, it's more about, look, you're fast enough. You've got the giant cannon arm, right? Can we get you consistent enough, right? That was just the bridge of the gap that you need to do. Anthony Richardson, is a lot more work seemingly that has to be done, but theoretically the what's it called, the athletic peak is on a whole nother level that you're going to want to be able to take advantage of. And then here is CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Like this is a relationship now. So apparently they're getting nice and buddied up. You feel me? They're over there, just getting some private work with the guys, with the coach, making it happen. Feeling nice, right? So that's what they got going on. Here's Joe Milton. Again, I really do. Joe Milton's going to do some phenomenal things. He can throw the bar 8 trillion yards. I don't know how that's not a touchdown. I'm sorry, son. You're about to get cracked right there, but I guess they're calling that a touchdown. That's all fine and dandy. Now, if we could talk about just the dumbest thing that the Cowboys and Cowboys owners have done or the Cowboy owner has done in a long time, and that's not paying Micah Parsons. And before I even get into speaking about this, again, Texans fan, I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, I am a Texans fan. So when I see the Cowboys making decisions that probably are going to make them a worse team overall, it does bring a smile to my face. However, I am a big fan of defensive freaks. I really like defensive stars, right? I think offensive stars, not, they are a dime a dozen, but I feel like there's just so many flavors, and not that I don't like them, but I think being a singular defensive player that can completely change an entire game is absurd. And Micah Parsons is one of those people. And let's just set aside, let's just pretend like he can't play every single position in the front seven. Let's just pretend that. Let's pretend that he wasn't coming out of Penn State as an off-ball linebacker. He was a top prospect, guys, as an off-ball linebacker that can blitz. He can, work on the inside. He can rush from the edge, right? And they just so happen to figure out that he's just the fucking best edge rusher, if not one of the better edge rushers in the league. He finished in top 10, top 7, if I'm not mistaken, in sacks last season. So like we're talking about someone who should be a no-brainer, right? I talk about Caleb Downs sometimes. I talk about a player who they're fixers, right? They make you right. Or sorry, I didn't come up with this. I think it was Micah or something, but it's something about being a fixer, and I really agreed with it, right? And I think that Micah Parsons does that, but doing that at the NFL level is a completely different ask and task than at the college level, right? Not to disrespect Caleb Downs. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player when he makes the league and still be able to have some of the range that he has. But Micah Parsons is blossoming into somebody who can apparently beat the best offensive tackles getting paid the most money, and then go back in coverage and get the people who are paying like the top 3 in money. Because you see with them Justin Jeffersons are getting paid. The fact that he's fine in coverage, he's fine. Not only that, but he's fine in space. That's a very, very important key, right? The reason he was an off-ball linebacker is because of how well he was as a tackler, and sure he was as a tackler, and that it might not come up as much as a defensive end and coming off the edge, but it does whenever you need to make a fourth down stop, right? When it's 3rd and 5 and somebody just got 3 yards and you need somebody to securely tackle to make this 4th and inches or whatever it is, and he's somebody that I trust anywhere in my 3-4 set or my 4-3 set. I want him at off-ball linebacker. He can play the 3 tech. I don't care. He can play the edge. So we're talking about somebody who is by definition generational, and somehow Jerry Jones finds it pretty reasonable to hold up the contract. So this is what a few pros have to say about it. Here is CD Lamb speaking on Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones. It says, playing the media game with Jerry is not the best. It's not fun. It's not recommended, but I mean, CD got paid, so it is what it is. Micah knows what he brings to the table. He should get what he deserves. I'm not indulging in any other craziness that they got going on, but I do want Micah to get paid soon. And then Micah Parsons is not happy so much that he retweeted this. He says, anytime you can publicly take a dig at your star quarterback and your star pass rusher simultaneously right before the season begins, you got to take it. Nothing makes guys want to fight for you more than hearing how upset you are that they got hurt while fighting for you. And obviously Jerry Jones made a bunch of wild statements such as these.
Just because we sign him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously. We've signed, I remember signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year, Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of things you can think about when you, just as the player does, when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money.
So, and Stacy in my comment says, I'm going to remember that jab about my Cowboys when the Texans play. I'll let you know. What? Your Cowboys? First off, it's always on site for the Cowboys. I feel like as the Texans, we're the little brother of the Cowboys, but we be, you know what I'm saying? We be embarrassing y'all. We come on now. We gonna stuff Dak in the locker. Okay, don't do it with me, Stacy. It gets serious about these interstate wars. All right. You hear me? Anyway, not what we're here for. We're here to talk about and make fun of the Cowboys. Let me be serious. Cowboys defensive end Micah Parsons and cornerback Trevon Diggs gave then Prop 2 availability to give their own side of the front office comments yesterday. And obviously, Trevon Diggs is also looking for a contract, but his is a little different story. You have a historic career where didn't he break the record for most picks in a single season? Some call him an interception merchant. And then you come back to the next season, and you have that awful, I believe, ACL injury. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then again, Micah Parsons missing those 6 games. I think as businessmen, I get Jerry Jones trying to hold them to that, but at the end of the day, like, what are you going to do with this on paper roster if you can't even get them off the paper, if you can't even get them to line up? But let's see what they have to say.
Some teams with guys like Max, he was like, man, they knew I was coming up and they just want to take care of him. And I just say, must be nice, you know what I mean?
Is it hard to be patient to try to get a deal?
Oh, no, patience is a virtue. I think it's key to patience. I think life is all about patience, knowing when it's your turn, when it's your opportunity, and then you maximize it.
You always helped him when he's doing the rehab. Are you helping him with the contract? Because you got yours a little early.
Yeah, of course. You know, telling him stay patient. It's coming. He's the best player in the NFL. Like, why wouldn't you pay him?
Sorry, I think Trevon Diggs does have a contract. My fault. I think he does. I'm wrong again. I'm no Cowboys expert, but I know that this motherfucker is unpaid. So I don't know how you unpay somebody this well. You know what I'm saying? But here's what he has to say.
Micah, how would you characterize how close you are to getting something done?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see how long things take, you know. That's it.
Thank you very much. Discouraged by the fact that it's taken this long?
Honestly, yeah. When you go around the league and you see these other teams taking care of their best guys, I see TJ got taken care of. You know, Max got taken care of. Miles got taken care of. And he got 2 years left on his deal. So it's hard to, yeah, you see a lot of people around the league getting taken care of. You just, you know, wish you had something like, you know, that same type of energy, you know.
It's hard to not take it personally.
I wouldn't say it's hard not to take it personally when you know how when there's a you know chain of events of something consistently happening over the course of years, when you kind of see it before through other players and things. So you don't take you don't take it personally when you're like, all right, it's not like I'm getting treated differently than anyone else, you know. So I don't take it personally. I just don't understand.
He just doesn't understand. And I gotta be honest with you, you have to feel sad if you're a Cowboys fan. Because it really does seem like, you know, we can talk. Oh, Andrew Makuba siding. Sorry. Well, that's not Makuba. But, you know, you have the conversation about, you know, Micah Parsons and what he can bring. What's it called? And this video is a little long, so we're not going to get to Jadon Blue. And let me just end this, by the way, by just pointing out the fact that we're going to get right back to the Micah Parsons thing. But so we can end this. This is a clip from, I think, like 2 years ago. And, Ferg season said, hey, first play of the Cowboys, Dak Prescott bombed to George Pickens. ESPN posted it, right? They posted it, and it was so bad that Molly literally had to apologize for it. But this is a little old, so we're not going to go about it. But back to what I was saying about Micah Parsons, you really, if you're a Cowboys fan, have to feel bad when you hear that. You know, no matter if you think he's just doing really good business, right, and just trying to keep everything in line the best way he sees fit, I think it's important to also see that he seemingly just wants to play. Like, he seemingly just wants to be a Cowboy at the end of the day. So you're not dealing with somebody who's seemingly trying to make things hard. I think he just wants the money to be paid by being one of the better players on your team. And he wants to be one of the best players on your team. But, you know, Jerry Jones is, he don't want that. He don't want that to happen. At least he doesn't want it to happen easily. So you let me know how you feel about the Cowboys. Do you want more Cowboys training camp updates? How do you feel about the Micah Parsons situation, Jerry Jones in general? All I know is the Cowboys suck. Like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, subscribe if you like football content of all shapes, sizes, forms, and fashions. Don't forget to comment if there's any other type of content you want to see, any teams you want me to cover during training camp. Right now we got the Cowboys, we got the Cam Wards, the Titans, the Jags. Obviously we're going to check in on Jimmy Horn, LeJounte, everything else in between. Mr. Shador, don't know if you heard of him, but you continue to be great. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.